Thinking about getting dental work in Thailand? Then this video is for you. Hi, I'm here poolside at the lovely Doubletree Sukhumvit Hotel in Bangkok. I'm an American and I generally save up my dental work for the times that I'm in Thailand. The quality of dental care here is excellent and the prices are even better. So I thought some of you might be interested in having your dental work done in Thailand or in dental tourism to Thailand if you need extensive work. So I thought I would do a price comparison of a common dental procedure in the US versus Thailand. So I'm going to take the example of a single tooth dental implant. This is a common procedure, and in fact it's a procedure that I had done yesterday. So let me describe what's done first. There are really three steps to the procedure. In the first step, you're having a tooth extracted. Maybe the tooth is cracked or it's infected, or maybe you've had the tooth extracted in the past and you have a space that you want filled with an implant. So in either case, the dentist will examine your jaw to make sure that the bone is strong enough to hold the implant. Very often it's not, and what the dentist will do is fill the space with bone material. The best material for this is human bone that's been processed and is sterile. The dentist will pack the space with this bone material and close out your gum, and you'll wait 4 to 6 months before doing the next step. I'm actually going to ignore the costs of this step in my comparison. Much of the cost, if you have the graft done, is the cost of the graft material itself, and I don't believe that varies a lot between the US and Thailand, since generally international brands are used. Now, after 4 to 6 months, when the space is healed, the dentist will insert the implant, sometimes called the fixture. The dentist will drill into the bone and insert this implant. When the dentist is done, he or she will screw in a button that protects that space. That button will later be removed. Sometimes the dentist will insert the metal rod that will actually later hold the crown, that's known as an abutment. But I've never had it done that way. I've always had a button screwed in after the implant. So the implant is then left again for 4 to 6 months so that it heals firmly into the bone. So then in the third stage, you'll visit the dentist, and the dentist will take an impression of your jaw. You'll come back a few days later and you'll have that crown inserted. So what the dentist does is he'll open up the gum, he'll remove the button if a button was put in, he'll screw in the abutment, and the false tooth is fastened to the abutment. Those of you who have implants know that once that implant is inserted, it's just like having a natural tooth. Okay, so now that you know what the process is, let's talk about the comparative costs between the US and Thailand. So in the US, the complete implant process will generally cost between $3,000 and $5,000. Now, some of this range is because dentists in different areas will charge different fees. You'll pay more in Scarsdale than you will in some other places, or maybe due to the quality of the dentist or the dental practice. But the biggest factor is probably the cost of the implant device itself. This cost can vary a lot. So at the low end, your dentist may use an OS stem implant, an implant that's made in Korea. It's perfectly good. Problems haven't been reported with it. As far as I can see, it's a perfectly good implant. Or your dentist may use a top-of-the-line implant made by the German company Straumann in Switzerland. And this is a top-of-the-line implant. It's made from very advanced materials. So it's good to know what implant your dentist is using, and your dentist may give you the choice of implants at different price points. Now the same is true of the crown although the variation in price may not be as great. So you could get a crown that's porcelain on metal, or you could get a crown that's made of a very modern ceramic material. So this accounts for a lot of the variability, but the price is generally in the range of $3,000 to $5,000, with a lot of that being a function of the materials that you're actually using for the implants. So in Thailand, I visited 2 international dental hospitals, both of which have great reputations. And the estimates I got at both were really quite similar, which makes the comparison a little easier. So using the high-end Straumann implant and a similarly high-end crown, the cost was about $3,000 US. So you can see that that's a saving over the US, and that in the US, probably $3,000 will get you the low-end implant, but in Thailand it will get you the high-end implant. One of the dental hospitals, I was offered the low-end implant for $1,700. So that's a considerable saving over getting the low-end implant in the US, which will probably cost you $3,000. Then I went to a local Thai dental clinic that had many excellent Google reviews. I met the dentist, who is European trained, so he's a very well-qualified doctor practicing in Thailand. So there I got a price of $2,000 for the high-end Straumann implant with an advanced crown. But they also gave me a price if I wanted to use the lower-end OSSTEM implant, and that price was under $1,000. So now you're comparing $1,000 to probably $3,000 in the US. Maybe you could find someplace that's cheaper in the US, but clearly that's a big saving. Now, before I get to my conclusions here, I'm going to throw in a brief advertisement. It would be great if you would subscribe to my channel and like the video. But what I'd really like is for you to visit my website. Actually, it's a new website, robertsultan.com. On it, you can find descriptions of the novels I've written. If they look interesting to you, you can buy them in paperback, ebook, or audiobook format. If you enjoy this video, I hope you visit my website and maybe buy one of my books if they look interesting to you. Okay, now back to the conclusions. So you'll save some money by coming to Thailand, going to a good international dental hospital, and getting your work done. You're not going to save a tremendous amount of money, but you'll save money, and the quality of care is great at these international dental hospitals. But if you can find a local dental clinic with a well-trained dentist, you have to look at their credentials, that's well reviewed on Google reviews, it has a lot of reviews, then you could really save a lot of money. And the dentist told me actually that a lot of people are coming, particularly from Australia, to have full mouth implants done. So a lot of people are coming to Thailand to have that kind of extensive work done. But if you have a single implant or a small number of implants, or maybe some other kind of dental work, you'll save some money by going to an international dental clinic. You'll save a lot more money if you can find a good local clinic. I have no magic for selecting the clinic, but I looked around before finding the one that I went to. So I mentioned before that I just had the work yesterday. I've had 3 implants in the past, and after each implant, I have actually had a significant amount of pain. Strangely, for this implant, I've had no pain. I can't tell you the reason for that. It certainly might be due to the quality of the dentistry, but I can't say. What I can say is it's been less than 24 hours since I had the implant inserted in my gum, and my mouth feels absolutely normal That's no guarantee that you'll have the same results. Now finally, if you're thinking about dental tourism, certainly a factor in your decision might be the cost of your trip to Thailand. So my round trip ticket from New York was about $1,000. Currently it will cost you a COVID test in the US before you come over, and 2 COVID tests in Thailand, although the government is looking at reducing that. You pay between $100 and $200 for COVID insurance that's required, and $40 for the visa, and there are some other fees. I have videos on my channel about the visa process. I found the process to be straightforward and can be done completely online, but there are quite a number of steps to do it. Personally, I wouldn't let that stop you from coming to Thailand. This is a great time to come because tourism is way down. The Thai people really need tourists to come and help the economy, and hotel prices are very inexpensive. So for example, I'm staying at the DoubleTree here for $45 a night plus tax, and it's an absolutely beautiful luxury hotel. And of course, food here in Bangkok, great restaurants that are very inexpensive. So hopefully that will help in your decision. Of course, you might not even want to consider those costs because you're also getting a vacation in Thailand. So come here, enjoy a month or so in Thailand, enjoy the beautiful beaches. Snorkeling is absolutely wonderful here. Take a look at my videos. But if you're factoring the cost into your decision, that will give you a rough idea of the costs. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Please check out my website, robertsalton.com. And thanks for watching. And I'll just close with another advertisement for one of my books. But really, thank you for listening. And if you're having dental work here, good luck, and share your experiences. So thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Vientiane Affair is a political thriller set in 1961 in Laos, at the very beginning of the CIA's secret war in that country. Fred Jenkins, an aid worker, is found floating in the Mekong. Jenkins' friend, Jack Gold, who works for the CIA, has no idea why anybody would kill Fred Jenkins. It's not really his job to get involved, but Jenkins was a friend. Right around the same time, a flaming redhead, Janet McCann, arrives at the embassy. Jack Gold is interested. Anyway, I hope you'll go on this beer-soaked adventure. There's plenty of action, sex, history, politics, murder, and espionage. So I hope you'll read it. Personally, I recommend listening to the audiobook. Anyway, have a look at the links down below, and if you enjoyed this video, why don't you consider ordering one of my books?